Hey, thanks for tuning in. I'm Kody with Up to Code, and today I'm going to show you how we fixed an issue with someone who tried to install a neo-angle shower but did it all wrong. So a friend and colleague of mine asked me to come in, and actually at first it was just to install a glass shower door. A contractor had come in, done some work, but he's just taken way too long not getting back to my client. So she asked me, she said, well, can you just come in and install the glass for me so I can use my shower? So I said, yeah, no problem. A couple hours of work. It's a pre-assembled kit. They're pretty simple. Came in to do it, found out it was all done wrong. I'll show you why in a sec here. But a couple other things that I noticed that were done wrong. Not to be one of those guys, like who knows, I don't know the circumstances of the job, so I don't want to judge too bad. There's no mixing valve seal around the mixing valve, which goes in and ties in with the membrane to keep it waterproof. So I got to figure out how I'm going to fix that issue, because you can see the holes all in around there. Now typically those gaskets prevent water, so because water's going to want to trickle down, and those gaskets are designed to allow it to run around and continue down this waterproof membrane. Now it's just going to run down and into the wall. So what I'm thinking is run a big bead of silicone in behind the finishing plate and just do a half moon, so that any water that runs down and gets in behind the plate will just come down and trickle down the sides and down the tile. So I don't know what to do there yet. I got to do a little more research. And then same up here, there isn't the proper gasket or seal around the shower head nipple. That probably won't see any water, so that's not a big deal. But anyway, the tile work's actually pretty good. I don't know why. I know why he didn't center this in the mosaic, is because it was just an easy way to get a full tile and a full tile. So whatever, we'll leave that up to you guys to be the judge of that. So let me show you why the shower door kit wouldn't work and how we're going to fix this. So down here, this is a neo-angle unit. So typically they just have tile on two walls. They don't actually have this third pony wall. And I don't know why the guy bought the kit like this, because the glass shower unit is supposed to be glass here, the door here, and then glass on this side. And you can see over here where it would have notched and the glass would have sat down inside the curb here. And because the kit is designed for those thin wall panels that just glue to the wall, it's not designed for tile. So the dimensions were all wrong. So I couldn't even just lean the glass up against this because the dimensions were just all wrong. So now we're here to fix this. You can see I've already kind of given away half of my remedy here. Is we're going to just set a curb. And we're going to use the schluter system curb, and we'll show you when we get the curb set. But basically the curb's going to sit right up tight against the shower base. We're going to use Kody fix to seal this joint here so that water doesn't try to get in down behind. Once we get that all set and Kody fixed, then it's on to doing some tile work and making it and allowing it so that when we get some custom glass, they can attach it to this wall and make it work. And it's actually kind of worked out pretty well for my customer, because now her shower will feel bigger because the glass is set back. And so I think it'll work pretty well. And let's just continue on with getting the work done. And I forgot to mention, here's my brother Rude. He's going to be doing most of the work. He don't like to be on film too much, so we'll just keep it at that. But he's really good at the tile work. I'll leave him with that. I'm just help guide him, get him started. We have the curb assembled, but before we mix up some mortar, I want to show you how we built it and what we had to do to get it to fit tight to the shower base. And I'll show you some of the products we've been using, and I'll list those in the description below. We actually had to taper the foam. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but we had to taper the foam so that it would sit up tight against this base. And now you can see that it fits up really tight. We can Kody fix it all the way around there. We'll mortar it down as per proper application. And then we just want to make sure that this tile will sit flush. We haven't decided if we're going to go outside of the schluter or flush to the inside edge. And then over here, if you look down, we're going to plane this tile through, even if we have to fur it out a bit so it meets this corner real nice. But the most important thing is to seal this edge before we start setting any tile. So tonight we're just going to set this with mortar. So some of the tools that we use to get here thus far is, well, first off, we cut this vinyl plank flooring with an arborite cutter, or for laminate for countertops, and it's actually just a hook blade with a chunk of carbide, and we just set a straight edge there, and we were able to cut that vinyl plank flooring real easily with that. I use these Tajima saws quite often for ICF, cutting wood. They cut like a charm, easy to haul around, so we used some of those. We just got this homemade sanding block to taper some of that foam. Olfa knives, been using those forever and a day. Awesome knives. Obviously we need a tape measure, so we use a Stanley. Levels, I typically use a Stabila, but my brother Rudy bought a DeWalt. So
show them why though. The ends clip off super easy.
Well, the Stabilas do that too.
Not that easy.
Oh, that is pretty easy. Yeah. Okay, DeWalt, we'll give you a little bit of credit on that one. But I think what's the coolest thing that we've been using is this Titan product. That's a foam bond. That's what we bonded our miters together, and this stuff is incredible. So that's just another little thing there. So anyway, we'll set this down with mortar. We'll make sure that it's level this way, with a slight taper inward if we can, and then we'll show you the rest as we proceed. You can see after the curb was set that we had used the Kody fix to seal up against the flooring. We sealed the miters, and especially we sealed that inside edge up against the base, the most critical part there, and we sealed it to the walls. Then we set our face tile, so the inside tile and the outside tile. For the sizing, we used a 100 size schluter on the inside and a 125 on the outside to get our taper to let the water run in toward the shower. And yes, set the schluter pieces, nice miters, and we're ready to set the top tile now. And I might just as well show you what it's like all finished. You can see behind me that I got the valve trim on and the shower head. And let me explain what I did in behind the valve here. I installed the silicone ring in behind the valve trim just because I didn't trust the foam gaskets there, but I left the bottom open so that water could run out if it ever did get in behind there. And then what happened is I installed the trim work and I noticed a pretty good gap, and I didn't trust that either, so I siliconed it up. So like I said, I had to silicone this gap. Here's what it looks like all done. Just try to keep it nice and tight and clean, and only ending it just past the sides there so that any water that does get in can come out and underneath the bottom there. And here's the tile work that my brother completed. It looks really darn good. The schluter job is very tight miters. The tile looks really good. I silicone this outer edge with translucent silicone, and it kind of the best of both worlds. It's a nice blend between clear and white. So as long as the background behind it is pretty even, you'll get a nice result like this. So everything's protected really well, as you saw earlier in the video. And I also silicone this inside edge just for that extra protection. Here's it from the other angle. It's unfortunate that we couldn't do anything more for my client. We couldn't just rip this whole shower apart just to avoid these little clips where the old glass would have went. I think it's livable. Yeah, hopefully you can see this okay. What we're gonna do is the glass door is gonna fit along in here and mount to this wall right here with some clips. I'm not exactly sure how he's going to do that, but it's going to mount to this wall. There's lots of material to back to and fasten to. It's going to come to here. Then there's going to be a glass panel that it just butts up against. It's going to be 2 or 3 weeks before he actually gets the glass in here, maybe even a month. I don't know. I might just finish the video off beforehand And if you want to see the glass later, just let me know and I can probably email you some photos of it all finished. The other cool thing is, because we have this funky offset over here with the original tile ending here and the curb extending past, we're going to land a U-shape channel here that the glass fits into, and then it's almost perfectly centered with this curb. So I think it's going to work out. Guys, like I said at the beginning, this isn't my tile job. I didn't plan the job. I didn't do the tile work. So don't light me up too bad on the comments. I was just here to install the curb and come up with a solution for the glass door. So this is the best we could do given the budget and the scenario that we had. And thanks for tuning in. See you around.